Good afternoon, everyone. It's Laura. It's gorgeous long coat season, and I have 15 long coats from my collection that I'm going to share with you today. I'll have a little bit about how to style them, and then if I've worn them out anywhere, I'll give you some stories. The first jacket in my collection is this gorgeous plum one. It's by Samuel Dong, which is one of my favorite coat designers. This is a bubble hem, has a really beautiful high collar that swoops down on the front, ties. I've been watching The Penguin lately, and he drives a car. It's this color, and it's so pretty. And the show is really good. I'm really enjoying it so far. Alright, to go with this, I think these United Nude heels would look fabulous. I think the purple is just about the right color. I also think these other United Nude boots that I have would look really nice with this. Kind of a molten geometric front, but then you have more purple in the back and it matches. Next we have another purple jacket, but this one is in like the true purple color. It has this really cool patterning. I don't know, it's like abstract, almost like a wood grain. This one came with a waist tie, but I didn't like it. I don't really like matching waist ties. I actually prefer belts. So this Brutalist belt is something that looks really good with this jacket, and also this modernist one. As for shoes, these Nicholas Kirkwood heels are kind of a perfect match. The purple color is almost the same. It's kind of a shimmery metallic, very strappy, very fun. I forgot to tell you the name of this brand. It's 20H Threads, which stands for Two Old Hippies. That's definitely not the vibe I'm going for here, but that is what we've got. It's too beautiful not to wear, and you can style it not in a hippie way, you can style it in a very futuristic way. So here we have this SW3 bespoke jacket. It's really pretty. It's an open drape front. There is no closure on it, so it's very flowy, very fun. Even though it's black, it's dark, it's still very feminine and dressy. It has leather arms, and then the back has a panel across the shoulders. It's just very chic. I wore this to the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry in Portland, Oregon. It was last Thanksgiving. I was over there visiting, and I was lucky enough to get to go see the Beautifica production in the planetarium there at the museum, which was super cool. So I wore this, and I wore these United Nude heels with the geometric heel. Very futuristic. I love these. So perfect for a science museum. So if you've never been to a production like that, the Beautifica is, so if you've never been at a planetarium, you go inside and it's a round room with like a curved dome, and they project this production up onto the ceiling, and you kind of lean back, so everybody's leaned back in their seats. It's like, it feels like you're inside of the production, and the Beautifica, it was a lot of beautiful music, and for most of it you're flying through like starscapes and galaxies and these interesting abstract patterns and forests and really just a lot of different stuff, and it feels real. It feels like the most intense dream you've ever had. So it actually felt like you were gliding through these gorgeous star fields and some just really it was really beautiful. That was a good night. Here we have a Design Today's jacket. This designer doesn't exist anymore. I don't know if it's vintage, but they don't make these jackets anymore, so if you want one, you're going to have to thrift it. I think I first saw this brand on ThredUp. I think I got this on Etsy or Poshmark. Not Etsy, but you can find them there. A couple of them I saw. I think I got this one on either eBay or Poshmark. The sleeves are long, so you can roll them back and get a lot of drama down here at the ends. And then it's very ruffly all the way down the front, through the back and the bottom. The collar is a double collar, and it has a wire frame running through the whole thing, so you can adjust these and do whatever you want. You can make it as dramatic and high and ruffly as you want. That's really one of the coolest things about these coats, is just how you can style it and make it interesting and fit exactly the way you want. But they're really pretty. I will be styling these with the United Nude booties that I have in my hand right here. These are gorgeous. They have a silver geometric heel and a little bit of like a snakeskin pattern, and then just a beautiful red. This is one of my favorite shoe brands. Now we have a really pretty dark purple Ports 1961 jacket. Forgive me for the tag, I still need to sew it on. The one side is falling off, but that's the brand. It has these beautiful leather panels all over, and just like piping and striping and blocks of leather all over. The one thing I don't really like about it is how boxy it looks on me. It's very like wide and straight, and so to get some curve in there, I like to pair it with this Brutalist belt, and I will be wearing the Nicholas Kirkwood shoes again with it. Now I'm gonna share with you one of my favorite jackets of all time. This is a Samuel Dong, and it's plush, it's soft, it's so soft. It's kind of like a scuba material. Oh my goodness, I love this so much. And it is the most vibrant, fiery lava dragons, like everything. You can see all this lava splatter, it's molten, it's beautiful. This color is like, you will stand out anywhere. I have worn this, oh gosh, I've worn this a lot. So I wore this to dinner on Halloween one time. It's because it's very fall. It's a very fall color. And then I also wore it for at a different Halloween, and it didn't turn out really good because I didn't practice beforehand, but I tried like painting my face like lava with the black and the cracks and the molten look. It wasn't great, but it was still fun. My friend did a lot better with her makeup. So I did that, and then there was one year I went down to the City of Rocks, which isn't actually a city, it is a place. It's a state park, I believe is the designation, but it's in southern Idaho on the Utah border. And it has these incredible granite formations. They're smooth and wind swept, and there are these arches and like towers made out of this granite, and people go out there and climb. It's like a really popular climbing spot. Oh, and I actually wore this not last night but the night before for my friend's birthday party, same one I did the face painting with, and her theme this year was dragons. I was actually doing the try on portion of this video, and I put this on, and I have a pair of pants that are like, they're like Ann Taylor Loft, I think, but they were the same color as this jacket. I was like, oh my goodness, that would be perfect. I will just go as like the fiery lava dragon lair kind of colors. I don't know, it was just all I could do this year. So I ended up pairing this jacket with those pants and these Thayskins Theory boots, which are super cool. Like, look at this heel. Isn't that the coolest geometric, like, Art Deco look you've ever seen? I love it. And then I wore, let's see, I don't think there's a maker mark on this necklace, but I found this online, vintage, but it's this really heavy duty enamel, and it's very fiery orange. It's got gorgeous colors, so I wore these together. The necklace is incredible. It's heavy, it's beautiful, it's like quality. And these, I don't know, I picked them up because I was having a really hard time finding something to match the necklace. And I don't know, I think the listing said that these were vintage or something, but they are probably like the cheapest Temu jewelry pieces I've ever had. And then I wore this bracelet as well, which is, it says it's handmade in the Philippines, so if you can see in there. It was a backyard party, so I ended up wearing the boots, but I got these really amazing Fendi shoes earlier this year, and these would be really perfect to pair with this jacket as well. This is another one of my Design Today's jackets. It also has the double collar with the wire in it, just like the red one. So this one's cool. When you roll back the sleeves, you actually get the same patterning as the collar, which is really cool because I like this. It's very rough. It's very like post-apocalyptic, but still classy. Like, this is a gorgeous coat. It's beautiful, has all these ruffles, but yeah, you have like this destroyed material that has like a post-apocalyptic feel to it. These are Nike G series, which I believe was a collaboration with Cole Haan. So we have G series on the bottom of the shoe, and then somewhere it says Nike. Where did it say? Oh, it says Nike Air on the bottom. And it doesn't say anything about Cole Haan. I think these are vintage now. I believe this was like a 2000s thing they were doing. But they're really cool. If you can find a pair of these, they're actually super cool. These have a bit of wear to them. I don't know if they came like this or if they're just, I don't know, if the ravages of time got to them before I found them. But that fact actually matches with like the destroyed feel of this collar. So I'm pretty happy with it. I like the geometry, very futuristic. These actually remind me, there was, Anne McCaffrey did a series of books. I think the first one was the Rowan. She's sitting on this throne and there's like the whole spacescape behind her because it's science fiction, but she's wearing this outfit, and the shoe part, I've always thought about that when I see these shoes. There's something about them that is similar in a way. So I may have fallen victim to the 2024 fall denim trend, but it's so worth it. I got the Samuel Dong long trench coat in denim. It's really pretty though. I really want to put together a space cowboy outfit, and this is going to be a part of it. There's one snap on here on the top to help keep it closed, and then it has a tie waist at the front, which threads through the side. Let's see, through the back and through the sides, and you can see it tied in the front. And then for the most part it just drapes open. And to go with this really fun jacket and the space cowboy theme, I have a pair of Melissa times Vivienne Westwood booties here. These are, so Melissa does like the jelly shoes. It's a Brazilian brand and they're famous for their jelly shoes, but they do collaborate with some really cool designers, and then you get these amazing rubber shoes. So these are, okay, you can see the Vivienne Westwood logo here, and then you can see it's really beautiful sparkly. They are super sparkly, and then like an awesome thick heel, but they definitely have like the space cowboy feel. And I'm excited to put together a full look. I need like a silver cowboy hat though, or something interesting. I did get a really cool piece of headwear to do the Met Gala look earlier this spring, and it's blue, but it's very futuristic. I'm afraid I would lose too much of the cowboy look if I didn't have like a more of a cowboy style hat, but I don't know. I'll have to think about it. This jacket's by Samuel Dong. It has very like ghostly abstract patterns in it. And it reminds me, so growing up I was obsessed with Breyer horses. I had a ridiculous amount. Most girls had Barbies, and I had some of those too, but I really had a lot of Breyer horses. And there was one in particular, it was one of the special edition Halloween horses. I think it might have been the first one. It was called Skullduggery, and it was black. It was a black rearing horse, and it had these really interesting patterns on it that remind me of this. To go with this jacket, I will be wearing these really amazing United Nude heels. This jacket is by South African designer Leigh Schubert. I wore this to the biohacking conference one year. It has really pretty geometric detailing on the sleeves and all the way down the front. That's kind of what drew me to it. It's definitely got that feminine feel in the back, but then just this really cool geometry on the front that I really, really like. For the styling in this video, I wore these shoes by Max Azria. This is a really cool jacket by Vertigo Paris. It's like a silvery blue. It has shorter sleeves and kind of like a kimono, like Japanese style. It came with a cloth belt that ties around the waist, and I didn't really love that, so I decided that I would pair it with this belt. Again, I love this belt for so many reasons, and it looks really cool. And the shoes that I'll pair with it are these vintage Mugler heels. This jacket is M2057 by Maria Pinto, and it went with me on one of the coolest trips of my life. I wore this to the first Starship launch down in Brownsville, Texas at Starbase. You can stay on South Padre Island and walk down to the end of the beach, and across the bay you can see the Starship launch pad and everything, and that's where I got to see the launch from. It's one of the coolest experiences. Seeing something that big take off from the ground is, I can't even explain it. And not just see it, but you can feel it. Like, you're across the bay, but when it takes off, you can feel it. It's like you can feel your rib cage vibrating as this thing is taking off into the air. And it's interesting. It's loud, but not too loud, and it sounds like sparklers. I remember like this crackling popping sound as it's going up into the air. Unfortunately, the first launch exploded, so it was so cool. It took off. We're like, oh my goodness, it didn't blow up on the launch pad. It's in the air. This is super cool. And as it's getting up into the sky, it's starting to do like this weird corkscrew or flip, and it was really hard to tell from the ground what was going on. And we're like, oh no, something's not right. But it kept going, and it got far enough out into the air that we couldn't see it anymore with the naked eye. And so we're like, and cell service was kind of bad, so we were having trouble like knowing if things were going well or not. Just a short while after we lost sight of it, after it got too small to see in the sky, we saw this huge explosion in the air, and everybody on the beach was like, oh no! We were all so sad that it didn't make it all the way, but super excited to see like how far it did go. For a first launch, that was incredible. And to fly all the way down there and not know if it is going to launch, because the first day, it was supposed to launch on a Monday, and it got delayed by a couple days. So I had to stay down there for a few days, met some really cool people, wandered around the beach, got to go eat at some good restaurants and check things out. But actually the delay was kind of cool because when they're not launching, they don't close down the road, and the road goes right beside the launch pad because it was originally, I mean, and it still is, but it's a public access to the beach there, which is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous, beautiful sandy beach right behind the launch site, and so you can sit there and you can play in the ocean. You're basically on the border with Mexico. I mean, you are on the border with Mexico. It's right there. And so you're just hanging out and ocean's over here and you look back and there's like this huge starship. If you're a space enthusiast, it's just a really cool place to be. But anyway, back to the jacket. And you see like the piping. Oh, it runs through the entire jacket. So it starts up at the top and then it sweeps down to the back and goes back up, and so you have like just these really cool ribs all the way through it, all the way down the back, across the hips again, and also on the front where the hips are. So this jacket is just really cool. I get so many compliments every time I wear it. People are like, oh my god, I love that jacket, and I feel very Matrix in this. So it's just fun. It's lightweight. It's for warmer fall days, I would say. I'm going to pair it with these Ms. Moo's boots. They also have this really cool sweeping piping all the way up and down the shaft of the boots. I think that matches the jacket really well. I think they go together. And then you have a beautiful curved heel, which is super cool. Okay, we're getting into the last three jackets now. These are my heavier wool jackets. This first one is by Guess. I really like this. It has a very like futuristic military cowl neck on the front with 3 gold buttons. And then on the back, you have 2 gold buttons and this really interesting pattern. So this used to have a tie belt, so if you haven't figured out by now, those aren't my favorite things. They used to have belt loops here, but I removed those so I didn't have to wear the tie belt. And I don't like the belt loops just like hanging out there by themselves, so I took them off. I felt like it looked too traditional with them on, but it had like 2 gold buttons on the top with, I don't know, that piece of material that usually goes with it. Anyway, I took those off, didn't like it, so now it has a much sleeker look, and I really like it this way. Oh, and I'm also not really a fan of the zippers on the sleeve. Like, I don't like exposed zippers. I don't like the way they look. Like, I love zippers. I love the functionality of zippers, but I don't like it when they're exposed like this. I don't know. It's just been done a lot. It has a very, like, biker jacket feel. It just... There's an era of the exposed zipper and I'm over it. I just don't really like it. It doesn't look futuristic to me. But anyway, I still really do love this jacket. Like, the rest of the structure outweighs the fact that it has a couple zippers that you can see. I wore this to a Christmas parade one year, and then I did a photo shoot with Brittany one time, and we were downtown and trying to find some cool places to take photos, and I ended up letting her borrow this, and we ended up in this back alley, and I don't even know what this was used for, but there was like a recess in the wall and it had like a shelf, but like a really heavy duty metal shelf or something. But anyway, she climbed up into the top section but it wasn't tall enough to stand in. Like, you had to crouch down and do these like interesting poses. So we're both crouched, like she's on the top and I'm on the bottom. I think I'm wearing like a mostly red outfit and she's wearing like this cream color. And the picture turned out super cool. It was one of my favorite pictures from that afternoon, or that evening, I should say. These United Nude heels are what I would pair with it. There's like this bone structure to it, which is super cool. And then the pony hair again, some silver detailing on the front. This back. I saw this jacket on Pinterest and I had it on one of my boards for a long time, and I was on the Reel one day and I found it. I found it on the Reel and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so hard to get. I don't know how it's here, but it's mine. So this is by the designer Dion Lee, who has dressed a lot of celebrities. Like, I saw Taylor Swift wearing one of their corset tops recently. So I had to do some digging on this jacket because I went back through the Vogue runway shots and I couldn't figure out when this was made. The 2013 runway had a lot of that patterning on the back, but this jacket wasn't in it. So I was like, okay, well maybe it was from before then. And it kind of was. It seems to have been from the same year, so 2013. But this was from a special collection from the Woolmark Prize. And I don't know how many of these were made. I don't know if these were made strictly to win the Woolmark Prize, and there are only a few of them out there. I'm not really sure. I don't know if they went into production. It's really hard to find any information. I did watch a few videos, and I caught a few snapshots of like different versions of this coat in the runway, but there really aren't any pictures online, except there are a couple of nice fashion photography photos of this, but most of them are with a hat. So I always used to think that it was the same coat, but now I feel like there might have been different versions, but I'm not really sure, because I always used to think, so this snaps in the back and then it unzips in the front, and you can like weave it under this part. Whoops. You can weave it under the front part and then snap it back in, so you get a different feel and you don't see the zipper on the front for this jacket. And I always used to think that this snapped off so that it would attach to the hat, but after looking at some more photos and seeing it on the runway and seeing different pictures, I don't know. I think actually there might have been a version of this where the hat was one piece with the jacket and it was just like that. So I'm not really sure. I actually did a photo shoot one time with this jacket and I got some really cool shots at the back. And I was doing some stuff on Photoshop. I was kind of trying to turn it into a piece of artwork. And I did. I had it on Etsy for a while and nothing sold. So I was like, I don't feel like having it on there anymore. But somebody close to me actually purchased one and sent it to me. I think it was for my birthday. So I actually have one canvas print of that photo right here. So this is on my wall. It's kind of a fun fact. So last night I was out taking pictures of the comet that's in the sky, and I realized that my iPhone was going to be able to pull in enough light to get me into the shot, and so I ran back to the house as fast as I could. I was like, oh my goodness, okay, I need to find something really cool to put on. Threw this coat on, ran back outside to where my phone was set up, and did a couple shots. I had to keep the shutter open for a long time, so there was a lot of blur, and they turned out okay, so I'm gonna try to get a few more. I don't know if I'll wear this jacket for the next photo shoot, but I'll try to get a few more shots of me and the comet. With the naked eye, the comet isn't really that visible. It's pretty faint. It's not like the Neowise comet that came through a few years ago. Like that one, I remember driving up the hill to get to like an open field area. We were driving on the road, like lights, all the stuff that's going on inside the cab, like all the dash lights, everything were on. And that comet was so bright in the sky that you could see it clearly through the windshield. You didn't have to turn off any lights for that. And this one is pretty dim. Like, you have to be looking for it, otherwise you can miss it easily. But so anyway, I feel pretty lucky to have gotten that shot. So the shoes I'm going to pair with this jacket are these Chrissy Morris heels. They have almost exactly the same colors as this coat. And the geometry is insane. The style, oh my goodness. I love these so much. These are super comfortable, but the arch is so high. Like, you feel like you're gonna fall forward every step you take. They are almost impossible to walk in. And you've seen some other heels, like I can walk in them just fine, but these are actually dangerous. Like, I can't. Unfortunately, these are just display heels, which makes me really sad because they're so beautiful. I want to be able to wear them out, but I would have to I would have to be linking arms with somebody the entire time, and even then, like, these would scare me. It's so sad. All right, everyone, it's the last coat. This is a macage coat. It's beautiful. It's a dark green, and it has these really cool collars. It's a double collar. It actually buttons, like you can stand this up and have a full collar, like closed up here, but I really love the open look. It's very future military style. The buttons are hidden, which I really like. Unless you have really interesting buttons, I don't want to see them either. I don't want to see zippers or buttons unless they look really cool. So I'm glad these ones are hidden. A little puff at the wrist. It looks really cool. It's a very sleek, beautiful coat. When I bought it, it had a belt with it. So it came with a belt, and I don't like it. I don't like the belt. I didn't like it in the picture, and I was like, gosh, I really hope that's removable because I don't like it. It doesn't look, it's not my style. I don't think it looks that great. It's kind of, I don't know. I think it's probably leather, but it's kind of basic, not my favorite thing. So this is what I'm gonna wear with it instead. Very sci-fi military look when you add this to it. Oh, they're pretty close to the same color. I hadn't actually put these together until now, but I like. These heels are by Philip Lim. So when I saw this and I was thinking about like the future military look of it, it reminded me of a picture I saw on Twitter recently, and this kind of like, it kind of went viral. I think the new Mexican president had just gotten sworn in or something, but anyway, she's down there and she's standing in the middle, and then there are these generals on her sides, and you're looking out over like these standing army personnel down below in formation. So I looked it up, and it's at the Mexican military college down there. It's very sci-fi. It's brutalist buildings, like as far as you can see, big monolithic structures, just the harsh geometry. It looks so cool. It's very science fiction. And this definitely made me think of that particular photo when I saw it. To add to the sci-fi look of this, this modernist brooch I think would look really, really cool with this jacket and the belt that I showed you earlier. Yeah, maybe somewhere on this lapel. If you'd like to see some of the things that I've curated, I have a couple of Pinterest boards that are dedicated to jackets. One is a jackets for sale board, and another is just like runway jackets or just cool jackets I found pictures of but aren't actually for sale, just like more for inspiration, or if you can find them, like the Dion Lee jacket that I had saved forever and ever, and then I finally found it for sale. I'll link both of those Pinterest boards down in the description below. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my collection and hearing some of the stories that go along with the coats. I hope you guys have a wonderful morning or evening wherever you are. Have a wonderful day.